All right, what's going on, everybody? Got to talk to you guys about this Vikings versus San Francisco 49ers football game here. Whoever won this game was going to go to the NFC Conference Championship. Of course, if the Vikings would have won this football game, they would be going on the road, whether if it's to potentially either Seattle or Green Bay. But Green Bay pulled. I mean, I'm sorry, but San Francisco, they were able to pull it off, and now because they have home field advantage throughout the entire playoffs, they now host the NFC Championship game, whether if it's going to be between Green Bay or Seattle. But just going over this game, guys, San Francisco was clearly the dominant team. Now, I tried to give the Minnesota Vikings a little bit of credit coming into this game because they did beat the New Orleans Saints, and the Saints were favored to play against the San Francisco 49ers for the NFC Championship game, according to some Vegas odds, according to really just a lot of people. And I thought it was potentially going to be the case, but the Vikings, they fought and they competed just toe to toe, right? It wasn't a fluke victory that they beat the New Orleans Saints. I thought they just won that game. But this game was completely different. The 49ers completely dominated the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings defense was the best part of their entire team. I mean, the offense had a fast start. They did score a touchdown, right? Kirk Cousins completed over 70% of his throws on the during that drive when they scored that touchdown. But after that, it was just, I mean, you saw the San Francisco 49ers really dominate this football game, especially just in all phases in the game, whether it was in the secondary, whether if it was at the front seven. They just completely dominated this game. Eric Armstead, Nick Bosa. You even saw D Ford, right? He finally comes back from injury and he makes an impact by getting a sack. But you just saw DeForest Buckner. We saw a little bit of just this linebacking core, man. What this linebacking core and this defensive line was just absolutely dominant, man. Fred Warner was able to do his thing out there. Just a dominant performance by the defensive side of the ball. Now, offensively for the San Francisco 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo and the passing, they just couldn't get it going in the passing game. But they ran the hell out of the football against the Vikings. Now, to give the Vikings credit, they held their own. But, right, Tevin Coleman, he was able to get over 100 yards. Matt Breida, he had almost close to 60 yards in this game rushing. Not Matt Breida, Mostart, he got 60 yards rushing, and Breida had a little bit of an impact until he fumbled late in the game. But they just ran the hell. I mean, this was just an old school football game. It was like watching the steel curtain out there, man. Just that old school mentality football, man, of just ground and pound and just play defense. And defense wins you games. And, in the playoffs, man, defense can wins you championships, and especially during the playoff time. Your defense can definitely carry through and come clutch. Now, of course, the 49ers, they're going to have to put a better effort throwing the football because even though they're going to have home field advantage, whether they're playing between Green Bay or Seattle, both of them have they both have pretty nice defenses. And, of course, Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson, they're better quarterbacks than the Minnesota Vikings. As far as just if you're a Vikings fan, I don't know if you guys should be disappointed by the result or just be disappointed with the season overall because even though that these guys were underdogs, you look at the Minnesota Vikings and the talent that they have. I mean, just a couple years ago, these guys were competing for an NFC Championship game. These guys have the championship talent, the championship caliber of talent on their roster. You're talking about guys like Xavier Rhodes, Harrison Smith, Dalvin Cook. You brought in Kirk Cousins on that huge contract. Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs, Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks, who might just be the best linebacker in all of football, Linval Joseph, Daniel Hunter, Everson Griffin. I mean, these guys have just had so much talent on that Vikings squad, and to see this team, yes, reach the playoffs after failing it last year, but so I don't know if Viking fans are going to be disappointed, especially with the season overall. I personally don't believe it's a failure because at the end of the day, these guys were underdogs and these guys defeated the Saints, which a lot of people didn't think that was going to happen besides Vikings fans. And they failed, but obviously there's a lot of things that they can try to look upon, but I think they got to win the division next year. I mean, the Vikings, I think the goal for them is to definitely to try to clinch home field advantage, at least through a wild card or through a divisional. You got to try to do something because I think going on the road from New Orleans and then going all the way to San Francisco, two back-to-back really tough road games, I think that definitely played a toll in why the Vikings lost today. Now, the 49ers are the better team, right? But I think going back to back playing the two best teams, in my opinion, in the NFC, I think definitely Texas Tony your football team. And the Vikings, I think what they did last week was that they executed. They executed on their plays. This week they didn't execute, right? They were flawless on that one drive and the touchdown. Their defense was playing great, but then things just started to fall apart, right? They just failed to execute, and they just begun to run some sloppy football, right? They couldn't run the football. Devin Cook was held to 18 yards. So as soon as the run game was taken away, you saw the passing attack. It was sloppy. It was just not an overall good game as far as execution wise by this Vikings football team, and I think that definitely played a factor in why the Minnesota Vikings lost, because you can't do that against the San Francisco 49ers, who are the best team in the NFC. You just can't do that. But once again, congratulations to the San Francisco 49ers for this phenomenal win. You guys get home field advantage to the entire playoffs. We all know this if you would have won this game. So whether it's going to be between Green Bay or Seattle, but you know, as a 49er fan, you got to be excited. You got to be really, really excited for the future of your future of your program, like it's college, but for the future of your franchise. And hey, if you win next week, you're on to the Super Bowl. So, once again, congratulations to the San Francisco 49ers. Also, again, congratulations to the Minnesota Vikings for reaching this far. Hopefully, these guys can get back there next year and hopefully improve upon what they did as far as their mistakes go. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for you guys today. I'll be back with you guys after the Seattle Seahawks and the Green Bay Packers. I personally think that I'm probably going to go with the Green Bay Packers to win that game, but who knows? But I'll be back after that game, and hopefully you guys will stay tuned to watch. Again, like the video, subscribe, hit that notification bell, share the video. Really helps out the channel a lot. And thanks again. Just thank you guys all for the support. And that's it. So anyway, guys, it's Gen 16. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.